Welcome, you are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 16, National Football League. Pittsburgh Steelers on the road, traveling to Lambeau Field to take on the Green Bay Packers in what was one of the most exhilarating games of week number 16. 6-8 Packers. Somebody forgot to tell these guys that they don't have a shot to make it to the postseason because they're hanging around. They're just hanging around. They're the guys outside of the dance trying to scalp tickets. They're trying to get a ticket into the dance, and they're hoping that somebody's selling tickets outside of the dance and they can get their hands on one and get inside before they shut the doors. And so somebody has to put these Steelers out of their misery because they're not going to give up without a fight. At 6-8, somehow, some way, they're still alive in the AFC wildcard race. Now, they need a lot of help to get in, but again, until someone puts them out of their misery, they're going to continue to hang around. They're going up against the Green Bay Packers, who are hosting this game at home at 7-6-1, and it's essentially a two-man race. And if you would have asked who would that two-man race in the NFC North be between, you wouldn't have put the Packers in there. You would have said the Bears and the Lions. But miraculously enough, the Bears have managed to stay afloat with their whole quarterback situation. The Lions, who had the most stable quarterback situation in that division, have fluttered and sunk to the bottom of that race. And the Packers somehow with the most zaniest quarterback situation, maybe outside of Minnesota. And even Minnesota's situation looks somewhat stable compared to what Green Bay went through during that first stretch when Aaron Rodgers went down. They're still alive in this playoff race, and alive and well, as a matter of fact. If they win this game against the Steelers and beat Chicago in week number 17, they're your division champs, pending what Chicago does in week 16 on Sunday night against Philadelphia. So even if they lost this game and Chicago lost too, they could still win the division in week 17 in that big showdown against Chicago at Soldier Field. So everything's in the balance for everyone this time of the year. The simple answer to every question is win. Let's get to the board and break this one down. 6-8 Steelers clinging to playoff life at the 7-6-1 Packers, who very much have a chance to win the NFC North division. So Green Bay on its second drive goes 87 yards in 13 plays in just over 5 minutes, culminating in a 5-yard Jared Boykin touchdown catch. It's 7-0 Green Bay. Dun, 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 dun. Go, Pat, go. They're up 7-0 early in this ball game. It's snowing. It's cold. It's December. It's Green Bay Packers football. Looks like it could be another one of those days in Green Bay in December. Steelers say, we're used to this weather. We're used to the snow, the cold, the inclement weather, the December football that matters. That's Pittsburgh Steelers football. Call on us. We can get it done. Steelers respond with the TD to Emmanuel Sanders. Big play on that drive with a 36-yard reception by Antonio Brown. To me, one of the best receivers in the league in 2013. I think he's been unsung. A lot of people don't understand what Antonio Brown means to this team, whether he's doing it on punt returns or he's doing it in the passing game or he's getting a reverse bubble screen, you name it. Antonio Brown has been doing it for this team, and he sets up this Emmanuel Sanders touchdown grab with a huge 36-yard reception. It's 7-all after the Steelers respond with the touchdown. A beautiful 14-yard cutback run by Eddie Lacy nets the Packers a touchdown as it's 14-7 Green Bay. And this matchup featured two of the better rookie tailbacks in the 2013 draft. I'm talking about Eddie Lacy and Le'Veon Bell. And I tell you what, both of these guys put on a performance in this game. Eddie Lacy ran tough as he's done all season long. He had a nice little diving pirouette to get in the end zone on this beautiful cutback run. Le'Veon Bell would not be outdone. He got in the end zone a couple of times in this game. Those two guys were showing off And they looked like the class of that draft at the running back position, and they showed it in this game. Ensuing kickoff, 45-yard kickoff return by Emmanuel Sanders leads to a Sean Sweetson field goal right before the half. It's 14-10 Green Bay at the half. Steelers will not go away, however. Steelers get the football after the half, drive down the field, have their drive stall out a little bit past midfield. They attempt a fake punt, and they convert it with a 30-yard completion. Matt McBride, the punter, to Paulson, the tight end, that leads to a Ben Roethlisberger 11-yard scramble for a touchdown. It's 17-14. So Steelers, they know their backs are against the wall. They don't have anything to lose. They pull out all the stops, including a fake punt that works to perfection. They executed this beautifully. A lot of times you give the punter the ball and you ask him to throw a pass over 10 yards, and it's a disaster. And McBride threw a beautiful ball to a wide-open Paulson, perfectly executed by the Steelers, and it nets them a touchdown down the road after they convert on 4th down. So, huge play in this game. Got to have some balls and some gumption to call a fake punt and actually ask your punter to throw it 25 yards down the field. That's what the Steelers did, and it worked to perfection. Steelers take the lead 17-14. Le'Veon Bell fumbles at the Steelers' 3-yard line. And I'm not used to seeing him fumble. I don't know if that's his first fumble of the season or not. But I can't recall him fumbling this season. But he put it down on the ground deep in Steelers territory. And so the Green Bay Packers are in prime real estate to score a touchdown at this point. But the Steelers defense holds the Packers to a field goal attempt. And that's some defense. To have a sudden change of possession at the 3. You're 3 yards away from giving up a touchdown. Your defense comes onto the field and holds rock solid and force the Packers to have to attempt a field goal. And not only do they do that, they actually block the field goal attempt as well. So you give up nothing on this possession. But Ziggy Hood is called for illegally batting the ball out of bounds, and Green Bay is rewarded the football wrongly. They get the possession back at the 1-yard line, and Eddie Lacy goes in 21-17. Pack leading in the game. Let's talk about this whole sequence of events because this was wrong on the part of the officials. The NFL issued a statement on Monday that the officials were wrong in this instance. Okay, the Steelers were said to have never gained possession on this play. So essentially, if you block a field goal or you block a punt and you touch it as the blocking team, if you block a punt or a field goal and then you touch the ball, never gaining possession, and the other team recovers it after you touch it, and this is after you block it, you can block it and everybody needs to back away. If you block it and it goes forward and you don't touch it, it's your ball wherever the ball dies. If you block a punt or a field goal, it goes forward, and then you proceed to touch it or try to pick it up, and you muff it or you touch it and it goes away, and the other team who was punting, who had it blocked, recovers it, it's their ball again. But in this case, the ball was blocked, and it was recovered by the Steelers. Possession was gained by Ryan Clark of the Steelers on this particular play. He laterals the ball back. It's fumbled, and Ziggy Hood illegally then blocks it out of bounds. Then he bats it out of bounds. You can't do that, so it's a penalty. But what should have happened is the Steelers should have been awarded the football, and at the spot of the batted ball, they should have been penalized, and they should have been going backwards from that point forward. But it still should have been Steelers football. Officials got it wrong. They awarded the ball to the Packers, and Packers take advantage. 1-yard Eddie Lacy touchdown. It's 21-17. Now, keep in mind that the football gods see everything, and nothing, and I mean nothing, slides by the football gods. So you knew at some point the football gods would intervene and make it all right. So, Packers take a 21-17 lead. Ensuing possession, 25-yard Le'Veon Bell run coupled with a personal foul penalty on B.J. Raji leads to an 11-yard Matt Spaeth touchdown. Steelers take the lead at 24-21. The very next play from scrimmage, Matt Flynn throws a pick six to Cortez Allen. It's 31-21. Steelers up by 10, their largest lead in this game. And this play was freaky because Flynn drops back to pass. The fullback on this play, who coincidentally is really the tight end, Andrew Corliss, is lined up at the fullback position. He thinks it's a run. So he comes up, and he comes up as if it's a run. He runs directly into Matt Flynn as he's throwing the football. Ball comes out funky, and it's picked off by Cortez Allen, taking the other way for 6. It's 31-21. Looks like the Steelers are going to run away with this one. But the Pack say, hey, hold on a second. We're not going away that quietly. A.J. Hawk with a nifty one-hand interception and tacking on a Steelers personal foul penalty puts the ball at the 23-yard line of the Steelers, which ultimately leads to a field goal. It's 31-24. The Packers were in desperate need of a big play, and A.J. Hawk going up with one hand and pulling down the football was a huge play in this game. Kind of got the momentum back on their side and gave them an opportunity to try to get back into this football game. A 31-yard Jordy Nelson reception sets up a 1-yard John Kuhn touchdown run. It's 31 all. So this is a back and forth contest. Nobody is relenting. No one is backing down. This is some great football in the afternoon of Week 16. Both of these teams having playoff implications on the line. I love it. December football that matters. Can't beat that. Matt Flynn, and this is where the football gods step in and even the playing field and make it right. You thought that pick six was the football god stepping in and making it right. You were wrong. You were mistaken. This is where the football gods say, okay, time for us to make that wrong a right. Here it is. Matt Flynn fumbles at the Green Bay 18. He's scrambling for a first down on 3rd and 8. Troy Polamalu swoops in, hits him 2 yards shy of the first down. Ball comes out. It's recovered by Brett Kiesel. Green Bay coughs it up, and the Steelers take over at the Packers 18 with a little over 2 minutes left in this game. So Steelers are in great position to win this ball game as they take over possession inside the red zone. 3 plays later, Nick Perry jumps off sides. So the Green Bay Packers defense holds, forces the Steelers to kick a field goal. Mind you, they've still got a couple of timeouts in their back pocket. They've done everything they need to do to make sure they'll get the football back with adequate time to try to win this game. And then Nick Perry decides he wants to be He-Man, and he jumps off sides, and he gives the Steelers a first down, a new set of downs, a chance to burn up the clock, a chance to eat up the Packers' timeouts, and a chance to get into the end zone. And all 3 of those things happen. Steelers ate up some clock, Steelers ate up the Packers' timeouts, and the Steelers got into the end zone on a Le'Veon Bell 1-yard touchdown run. It's 38-31. Packers conceded the touchdown, allowed him to get in so that they could keep some of the time on the clock. And it almost proved to be a great move on the part of the Packers because Micah Hyde on the ensuing kickoff goes 70 yards down to the Steelers' 30-yard line. Again, what a game this was. And so he takes it to the Steelers' 30-yard line. Then Jordy Nelson goes for 7 and gets out of bounds to stop the clock. Then Andrew Corliss goes for 19 down to the 5-yard line. The clock is running. Tick, 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 tick. They hand the ball off, and this is where I think they made a mistake. Because they had time, they felt like they can run the football in this situation. But I didn't think that they had enough time to try to run the football. I thought that was a cute move. They were trying to be cute. They were trying to be pretty. Don't be cute. Don't be pretty. Be good. And I think in this instance, you got to stop the clock. It either has to be a pass or you've got to throw it into the end zone. You can't run it here and come short of the end zone, which they did. But they had enough time to get up to the line of scrimmage and spike the ball or run another play. And they elected to get up to the line of scrimmage and run another play. So what happens is that as the time is ticking, and James Starks gets a 4-yard gain down to the 1-yard line, they line up, and they've got plenty of time. Again, by allowing the Steelers to score, they preserved a lot of time on the clock. So they've got time, but they have a false start penalty by Don Barclay with 22 seconds left, which, if you know anything, stops the clock temporarily, but it comes with a 10-second runoff. So that 22-second clock that the Packers would have had, it essentially dwindles down to 12, and then the clock is ran at the referee's whistle. And as he backs up, puts the ball down, they wind that clock. And so the Packers essentially get up to the line of scrimmage and with 3 seconds, snap the ball. And so this is the game. They went from probably getting a good 2 or 3 snaps at the end zone to running the football, having a false start penalty, and having 1 snap at the end zone. And Matt Flynn tries to throw a slant to Jared Boykin. It's incomplete, and the Steelers hold on. And he had Jordy Nelson wide open on the inside on the same slant pattern. I just think he picked the wrong receiver. And the Steelers hang on in exhilarating fashion. 38-31. They get it done. They keep their postseason hopes alive. And again, I don't know why these guys are hanging around, why they're outside of the dance, and why they think they're still going to get a ticket. But nobody seems to be able to tell them that they're not getting in. Until someone does, the Steelers still are going to be playing football with the hopes of getting in. And this is their scenario. They need Miami to lose. They need Baltimore to lose. And they need San Diego to lose. So they need a lot of help. They need 3 teams to lose. San Diego probably not going to lose because they're at home against Kansas City. And the Chiefs don't have anything to play for. They're locked into the number 5 seed in the AFC. So don't know if the Chiefs are going to show up and try to play spoilers for San Diego or not. I think the Chargers are going to win that game at home. But even if they don't, the Jets are coming to Miami. I do not see the Jets beating the Dolphins in Miami. I think the Miami Dolphins are going to win. So that would eliminate the Steelers as well. And even if they lose, they still need the Ravens to lose. And I think that's going to happen. I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to lose to the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 17. So I think one of those situations will play itself out in the favor of the Steelers. But the other two I just don't see happening. But anything's possible. Week 17 is going to be so compelling because there are a lot of play and win and you're in situations in Week 17. You got the Dallas-Philadelphia game. You got the Green Bay-Chicago game. You got the situations that I just named in the AFC with San Diego needing to win and needing a little bit of help. You got Baltimore, you win and you're in. You got Miami win and Baltimore loses and you're in. You got San Diego, if they win and Baltimore and Miami lose, they're in. You got all of those teams, if they lose and Pittsburgh wins, they're in. So there are a lot of games that if you play, you win, you're in. If New Orleans loses and Arizona wins, Arizona's in. If Arizona can find a way to get that game over San Francisco, who knows what can happen there. There are just so many instances where teams have to win to preserve something. New England, if they win and Denver loses, New England's your number 1 seed in the AFC. So, I mean, there's just so many games that have playoff implications. Same thing in the NFC. If Seattle loses and San Francisco wins, Seattle is no longer your NFC West champions. That would go to San Francisco, and they would no longer be your number 1 seed either. That would go to San Francisco as well. So, I mean, there are so many different outcomes that could come about after week number 17. All we can do is sit back and relax and enjoy the proceedings in week number 17. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. Bart Scott can't wait. And so that's going to do it for week number 16 here in the National Football League or here in the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. That happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. That's going to wrap up week 16. Bart Scott, week 17. It's going to be a doozy. Boy, I can't wait. Can't wait. Bart Scott. Can't wait. See you then.